there's no escape. On Halloween, the veil between this world and the next will lift. And then, all hell breaks loose. People have been scaring each other for as long as there's been a Halloween. But how long is that? Where does it come from? And why do we put on disguises and carve jack-o'-lanterns? To indulge our darkest fears? Unlocking the secrets of Halloween means discovering how it all began, thousands of years ago. So lock the doors, dim the lights, and don't be scared as we dig up the real story of Halloween.
Hello to everyone, good afternoon. This is a presentation in which we could see the origins of Halloween as a festival, as a tradition, activities that take place nowadays in the streets, in some places like Canada, the United States, and also Great Britain, or the UK, United Kingdom. So, we are going to start by describing some key words or terms, by explaining them. Then we will move on to the first origins of the history of Halloween, and we will move after that along the time to see if Halloween has been developed in different ways as it is happening today. Okay, so let's start by the brief description of some terms, some key terms we have here. Okay, we have Celtic, consumers, immigrants, malicious, medieval, merchandise, pranks, predictions, Puritans, supernatural, tradition, and underworld. We could translate them, but we are going to explain them in English, only that. Celtic refers to the people who lived in Europe before the Roman conquest or the Roman Empire period. They were tribes dispersed along the countryside, and they were present in the north of Europe and also in the south of Europe. Consumers are those ones who spend money to acquire products and are doing activities related to consumerism. Immigrants are people who arrive to another country as foreigners. Malicious is an adjective which says that we have a mad or a bad intention. Medieval refers to the period in which we have castles, princes, knights, friars. We have the medieval period, or also called the Middle Ages. Merchandise refers to the produce of, in this case in Halloween, customs, any kind of clothes that are used during these days, any kind of colorful decoration is related to the merchandise, the products that we have inside of the stock of the consumer world. Pranks. It is related to the jokes or the treats that are done nowadays in the streets during Halloween night by the children and also the adults, and are very common in the United States and also in Canada. Predictions. It is a friend from Spanish which says that we have something in mind that is going to happen in the future, and we are very secure of ourselves that everything is going to happen. Puritans were a kind of society, very religious, conservative society from the United Kingdom who traveled to the United States or America at that time to search for another life out of the kingdom, who was totally Protestant. Supernatural, it refers to all phenomena that happen in the earth and is related to the outside of this world. Phenomena that are present here, but you cannot see it. Supernatural is like fiction, okay? Tradition, it refers, this word is very well known, and it refers to the activities that are preserved throughout the decades and also the centuries to celebrate any kind of festival. And underworld, it refers to the dead people world, things like that. These are the words to know. Now we're going to see the definition of Halloween. What is Halloween? It is a party that is celebrated the 31st of October, the night before the first day of November, and people are used to go throughout the streets wearing dresses, looking for candies. You can see monsters, ghosts, superheroes, and things like that. It's very common to find children in your home trying to obtain candies, things like that. And now, having told the definition of Halloween, we move on to the first tradition that we can find in the history related to the Samhain Thales Festival. The Thales celebrated the day of the 31st of October, not the Halloween yet festival. They celebrated the end of the year. So they were celebrating like Christmas nowadays. So you can find that threshold which is preserved nowadays in such a way that we still believe in some cases that the night of the 31st of October there is a connection with the underworld, the world of dead people, and the living world, or the people who are present on the earth today. This was a way of predicting the future too for the Thales. So this is very, chronologically speaking, this is very old, before the Roman period, of course. We also are going to see what are the beginnings of Halloween, according to the religious tradition. Okay, after knowing that celebration that the Thales had, the church decided to declare All Saints' Day on November the 1st, so the day before the 31st of October was called All Hallows' Day. And then it was called All Hallows' Eve, which later was shortened to Halloween. It's a play of words and affixes and prefixes in the same term. Hundreds of years later, the traditions of Halloween that we know today were also influenced by the Thales, as we have said previously. Now, we move on. Okay, there are customs and trick-or-treating throughout the world nowadays, and this practice is also inherited by the Thales because they used to play different roles during that celebration we have explained before. And they were frightened because they thought that the supernatural elements or forces were able to catch them and to put them in the underworld. That's the reason why the customs were used. Okay? And now we move on to the last slide. There were traditions like the apple game, in which the girl guesses the name of her husband by taking the apple with the name. Halloween today is very common to use the customs, the apple game, and other games related, and children learn at every place of the world how to celebrate it. And I hope this presentation could be an example of information you can take to understand how Halloween has started and also how has been developed throughout the years, the decades and the centuries, with the influence of the Thales, of course, the influence of the church, the influence of the activities of the society in some places like the apple game. And you can also see how it has been developed nowadays, avoiding violent celebrations or damaging activities, of course. So that is all. I hope you have enjoyed, and I will see you in next presentations. Thank you very much. Have a nice Halloween.